Today, me and my friend Soapstyle are going to be creating a Dress to Impress inspired base in 99 Nights in the Forest. It's going to have a complete runway where we can walk and get judged by our peers, a full dressing room where you can go around and get dressed up and ready for the runway, and even Lana's nail salon. So if you guys are excited to see me build this crazy Dress to Impress themed base, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. Anyway, let's get right into the video. The first thing we got to work on was chopping trees and collecting a bunch of different materials. The goal was to go around and collect a bunch of loot even on day 1 because we wanted to make as much progress as possible. The first step was to fuel up the fire really quickly and get it to level 4 before the end of night 1. We also saved the first kid on night 1 because I wanted the days to go by as fast as possible. Me and Soph really speedrun this. I continued to collect a bunch of loot, going around, opening chests, exploring the map a little bit, and of course collecting as much fuel as possible. I was on an adventure when I saw something suspicious in the background. A bear corpse hanging from a tree that I immediately knew that I wanted to have. Unfortunately, it was guarded by cultists, so I decided to take those fugglies out, kill them, and steal their bear corpse. I felt like we could use a friend, you know, this bear isn't technically dead yet. Okay, we can just use it as a plushie or something. I brought it back and told Soph that I brought a friend, but she seemed a bit concerned. It's okay, who needs her opinion anyways? I love my little bear. After that, we continued to go around and start collecting even more wood because we were all starting to get pretty hungry. One thing that I really forget about pretty often is food, but setting up an auto farm makes our life so much easier, so I decided to do that. For an automatic food farm, all you need is a wood rain storage, a log wall, and a crock pot with some farm plots. Place the log wall down, then use the wood rain storage and put it down kind of inside of the log wall. Basically, you shouldn't be able to access the back of the wood rain storage. It should be kind of boxed in. Then place a crock pot right in front of it and place farm plots stacked on top of each other. Once you do this, all you have to do is collect the food from the farm plots and just throw it into the wood rain storage. The crock pot is automatically going to cook and stock all the stew, so you literally never have to worry about food ever again. I was definitely on a high after creating the automatic food farm because I felt like we were making a lot of progress, but then I heard a certain sound. I looked on the map and excitedly realized that Furniture Poppy had arrived, so I ran to him immediately. He had a lot of really cute loot this time, and obviously I decided to buy out pretty much everything. I came back to base with my loot and started making a decoration pile that would continue to grow over the next few days. We needed a lot of decorations in order to make this proper build, so I knew that this was going to get a little bit crazy, but it would be so worth it. I also ended up building some shelves to store the stews because I realized we were cooking a bunch of them but had kind of nowhere to put them. After that, I wanted to go explore the new lava biome and loot around a little bit because I hadn't really explored this very much. I of course ran into some fugly cultists along the way, so obviously I had to kill them. We gaslit, gatekeeped, and girl bossed our way to victory and even killed this stupid scorpion before finally returning home. Except on the way there, I got chased by the big back deer of the woods. This thing literally never leaves me alone. Like, can you get a job? Do something else? At least I ended up making it back safe because I really did not want to die when the run was going this well. Lucky for us, we managed to collect all the kids in under 30 minutes, and by we, I mean Soph literally did all the work. I went and helped her for one of the kids, but other than that, it was all on her, so thank you, queen. Finally, on day 65, I decided to head back to the lava biome because I wanted to try and take over the volcano. You see, the volcano is guarded by a bunch of cultists, and for good reason. Inside, there's this strange-looking ritual circle with a table, and in order to activate it, you have to burn some cultists. The volcano is apparently also a big back and just needs a bunch of food. And I don't know about you, but there's something really therapeutic about taking those cultists that are traumatizing you for the entire run and just throwing them into the fire one by one and watching them burn. Am I messed up for that? Let me know in the comments. After you throw 8 cultists inside, the ritual activates and gives you a random item. This time it only gave me a gem of the forest, but I was looking for something specific. The Inferno Sword. See, this sword is so cool because it can light things on fire. Not only is it just as strong as a spear, but it also automatically cooks your food and applies burn damage. Like, that is overpowered. Unfortunately, we didn't get it this time, but I ended up killing a bunch of cultists and, you know, rounded them up to feed them to the volcano. Don't worry, I was definitely gonna come back later. Any excuse to kill any cultists, I will take. I was on my way home when the hungry hippo of the woods started to chase me all over again. This is getting tired at this point, okay? Leave me alone. But even that fugly deer couldn't stop me from going back the next day and cooking even more cultists. I don't know, they're really ugly, and I get a lot of joy from hearing them scream as I throw them into the fire. The sound of the sizzle just does something nice to my brain. And this time was also a flop. We only ended up getting cultist gems, which were gonna be useful later on, of course, but I really wanted that Inferno Sword. I was a little bit sad, but that didn't last very long because Furniture Poppy decided to come back and pay us a visit. it. And you know, whenever he arrives on the map, I run to him immediately. I had collected a bunch of coins at this point from killing all of these cultists, so I ended up using it, spending it on my man. Day 92 rolled around and it was finally time to decorate. The first thing we did was start to map out the runway. This was pretty much going to be the main part of the base and kind of the centerpiece. So I wanted to map this out first because the rest of the build was going to go around it. I used the fireplace as the center and tried to surround it with some fences and cute decor. At this point, I really didn't know what I was doing. This is not final. We were going to come back to it later. But I definitely did want to put this cute raccoon plush in the middle to guard our runway from the uglies. Gorgeous outfits only. Thank you. Day 110 rolled around and it was time. I returned to the volcano with a mission to get the Inferno sword. And after feeding the volcano countless times, being traumatized by so many cultists, chased by the deer twice, not once, but twice, I finally did it. I got the Inferno sword. This thing is crazy and I felt super powerful holding this thing in my hand. I felt overpowered already. Now that I had my precious sword, I continued to work on the runway. I made 2 paths to lead back into the dressing rooms, which was kind of going to end up looking like the free play map from Dress to Impress. Basically, the free play map in Dress to Impress has a runway that leads into 2 separate entrances. Both of these lead into the same dressing room, and then there's a couple of things inside of the dressing room like Lana's nail salon and VIP. I had the idea to finally start using walls and map out the dressing room in the back because I needed to know exactly what area I was going to decorate. Unfortunately, this required us to collect an ungodly amount of wood. I mean, to the point where my fingers were sore from clicking my axe to chop down trees. When are we going to get a hold to click option, please? Day 155 and Furniture Poppy returned to us. I ran to him and continued to buy out his entire stock because, you know, he can take all my money as much as he wants. I headed back to start finishing off the base of the runway and then continued to section off the dressing rooms. To do this, I pretty much just made a giant square that was 3 wood walls across and about 9-ish wood walls in length. I also boxed in the crafting table and the food generator so that it wasn't in the way. I still wanted it to be accessible, of course, so I created a cute little entrance on either side with using these clothing arches. But at least now it was kind of hidden from the dressing room, that way it didn't interrupt the build at all. At the same time, my girly Soph had gotten started on decorating the dressing room, and must I say, period queen, that Sims 4 training is really coming in handy. Listen, there's just some things that girls do better, and decorating is one of them. I went back because I needed more walls and realized we were out of wood, so it was time for more wood chopping. It was now day 209 and I continued to decorate the dressing room area. I added little tables and fences and also these little mini dressers and bedside tables. We had a bunch of cultists lying around because they kept trying to take over our base, so I decided I would put them to work and use them as mannequins. I mean, if they're just gonna lie around all lazy or whatever, might as well go to work. Then I started to section off the runway to make it feel more like it was part of the base. Basically, the goal was that the runway was also closed in because I didn't want it to feel like it was just outside. And at this point, we were continuing to get attacked, so it would be nice to kind of close off the base and make it feel a little bit more safe. I wanted this to be functional after all because I wanted to get a lot of days. Of course, I got distracted by Furniture Poppy because who wouldn't? Look at that man. Something about that little mustache and the monocle combo, it's so iconic. I went back to start decorating the runway and I made a judging table. The free play map also has a judging table in Dress to Impress, and there's just a bunch of lights and stuff around it. We didn't really have that many lights, but I decided to use plants, fairy lights, and fences to decorate around and make it look less boring. And then I went around and started to decorate the runway. The goal was to make it really floral and pretty, just have a lot of plants around it, kind of inspired by the summer runway in Dress to Impress. I added a bunch of flowers, bushes, hedges, even some fences and mushrooms and pretty lights. I changed out the platform in the middle to also be a gazebo. Meanwhile, Soph continued to decorate the interior even more, adding a bunch of detail to make it feel really, really pretty. We also realized that we wanted to make another little area inside for Lana's nail salon, so I used some wood walls to box it in and then started decorating. I added this restaurant table as Lana's nail station and some chairs along with some bedside tables to act as our dress-up stations where we do our makeup and our hair. In the back, we added a shelf with a bunch of bandages that acted like towels, and Kendall, Soph's sister, even had the iconic idea of using the respawn capsule as the skin tone machine. This was just revolutionary and we knew we had to do it immediately. Finally, on day 371, the base was finally complete, so let me give you a tour. We're gonna start off at the runway, which just looks absolutely gorgeous. This is one of my favorite things I've ever made in this game. The details are gorgeous, the plants are stunning, and I love just how pretty this looks. It really does feel like a beautiful runway. There's a judging table right across from it so that people can watch you walk down the runway and vote you 5 stars. Inside, we have a fully decorated dressing rooms with live mannequins, a bunch of furniture, tables, and even clothing along the tables. There's a respawn capsule to act as our skin tone changer, and even more decor along with Lana's nail salon in the back with a totally not dead cultist to do your nails for you. He's just taking a nap, okay? He's a little tired or whatever. We even have tables inside to do your hair and makeup and a shelf with a bunch of towels, along with just even more decor decor. In the middle is obviously our survival area with our auto farm and oil drill and our crafting station. Very luxurious, very stunning. But now that the base is completely done, I think it's time to walk the runway. And that is going to wrap it up for today's video. This is probably my favorite base that I've ever made. I think it turned out so good, and with the help of Soph, we really did eat that up. Let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite part of this base? Mine is definitely the runway. And of course, Lana's Nail Salon, that turned out really good. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, that way you never miss a single video from me. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, models.